All right, let's dive into this Mistborn book, The Final Empire, right? You've given me like a whole stack of stuff here. I'm ready to really get into this whole world of Ash and this Lord Ruler guy.
Yeah, this Lord Ruler, he's been in charge for 1,000 years, and the Ska, the normal people, they've really been suffering under his rule. But there are whispers.
Oh, whispers. Okay.
Yeah, whispers of rebellion, and that's where our story starts.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah.
So where do we begin? What's the first scene?
Well, we meet Kelsier. He's this really charismatic thief, and he's a Mistborn.
The Mistborn.
Yeah, he can burn metals and get these like amazing powers, right? It's called Allomancy. But even with all that, he's got doubts.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Doubts right from the start. That's kind of interesting. Why is he hesitating?
It's a lot of pressure. He thinks he's this hero of ages.
Yeah.
You know, like destined to save the world. I think he wonders if he can really live up to that.
Yeah, wrestling with destiny. That's some heavy stuff. So who else do we meet in these early chapters?
Well, then we go over to Vin, this young girl. She's a street urchin in Luthadel. That's the capital.
Okay.
And she's a Mistborn too. But her powers they're pretty raw, untrained. She doesn't really trust anyone. She's been through a lot of betrayal.
So we got Kelsier, this kind of maybe messianic rebel, and Vin, she's the survivor, right? Street smart. I feel like there could be a good partnership there.
Oh, absolutely. That's exactly what Kelsier sees. He actually sees her use her allomancy to get out of this really bad situation.
Oh, wow.
He knows there's something special about her.
Okay, like a mentor-student thing starting. It's a good. But before we get into that, tell me about the world. What's it like to live under this Lord Ruler?
It's pretty bleak. Ash is falling from the sky all the time.
Oh, wow.
Like, it's a real symbol of how oppressive he is. The Ska, they're treated terribly. They work in awful conditions. The nobility, they control everything. And there's always this fear.
Oh.
Because the Lord Ruler has these enforcers, the Inquisitors. They could show up anytime.
Okay, Inquisitors, those sound scary. What are they like?
I don't even know. It's like they've been twisted by this dark magic.
Oh.
Hemalurgy, it's called. They steal allomantic powers from other people, like impaling them with metal spikes. It makes them super strong, yeah, but it also makes them monsters. They're like the Lord Ruler's will, but like alive and terrifying.
Okay, yeah. I'm getting chills just thinking about it. So, no wonder Kelsier wants to take this guy down. How does he even start to build a rebellion?
Well, he needs a crew, right? So he starts putting one together. Each of them has a different talent, a different strength.
Oh, I like it.
There's Breeze. He can manipulate emotions. He's a soother. Ham, really strong, a thug. Clubs, he's the fighter, gets them weapons. And Spook.
Spook?
Yeah, he's a tiny, can see really well and hear really well. All of them, they all have their own reasons for wanting to join Kelsier.
Like, it's like a team of superheroes or something. So what's their first big move? What do?
Kelsier, he wants to hit the Lord Ruler where it hurts, his money.
Okay.
So they plan this heist to rob his treasury.
Ooh, that's bold.
It is. Really high stakes. They have to be so careful, plan everything perfectly.
So is this where we really get to see the Allomancy?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Each of them uses their powers to get past obstacles, trick the guards, all of it. And finally, they get to the ATM.
ATM.
Yeah, it's the rarest metal, super powerful for Allomancy.
I bet that's going to be important for the rebellion, right?
You got it. ATM lets a Mistborn see a little bit into the future.
Oh, wow.
Huge advantage, especially when you're going up against someone like the Lord Ruler.
Yeah, that makes sense. So we got Kelsier gathering resources, building his team, fighting back. But what about Vin? Where does she fit into all of this?
Well, Kelsier's been training her secretly, showing her how to control her powers, wants to turn her into a weapon against the Lord Ruler. But she has a hard time with trust, you know. Her past makes it hard for her to really commit.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's hard to believe in something bigger when you've only ever been betrayed.
Right.
So, what changes her mind? What makes her join the rebellion?
Kelsier takes her to this place, Kredek Shaw, the Lord Ruler's palace. He wants her to see how the nobility lives. All this extravagance, so different from the poverty of the Ska.
So he's appealing to her emotions.
Exactly. He wants to make her angry, make her see the injustice.
Smart.
And it works. While she's there, sneaking around, she finds this hidden room.
What's in it?
A journal.
The journal.
Yeah, and it talks about secrets about the Lord Ruler and the origins of Allomancy. It makes her realize there's way more to this world than she ever thought.
A hidden journal. I like it. Sounds like a mystery.
Oh, it's more than just a mystery. This journal, It sets Vin on a whole path of discovery. She starts to question everything she thought she knew.
Hmm.
About the Lord Ruler, the world, even herself. It's a big turning point for her.
This is getting really good. Heists, secret training, mysterious journals.
Yeah.
I am hooked. What happens next?
Well, things get really intense when Kelsier decides to, like, make a statement.
A statement, okay?
Yeah, so there's this ska execution happening. And Kelsier plans this crazy rescue. He wants to show people they can fight back, that there's hope.
So he's using this execution in public to send a message. That's pretty risky.
Oh, it is. It's super risky. Especially because, well, the Lord Ruler himself shows up.
Oh, wow.
Kelsier knows he's probably not going to make it out of this. It's basically a suicide mission.
Oh, wow.
But he's willing to do it, to sacrifice himself to get the rebellion going.
Man, he's giving his life to inspire them. That's powerful.
Yeah, it really is. And his death, it affects everyone, especially Vin.
Of course, yeah. I mean, she lost her mentor, the person who believed in her. That's got to be rough.
It is.
So what happens to the rebellion? I mean, they lost their leader.
They're devastated, but they come together. They decide to follow Kelsier's last instructions, keep his plan going. Vin, she's heartbroken, but she realizes she has to step up.
So even in death, Kelsier is still leading the way. What exactly did he set up for them?
Well, remember that adium heist? That was part of a bigger plan. Kelsier wanted to use that wealth to, like, cause problems for the nobility, mess up their finances, get them fighting amongst themselves. Vin and the crew, they keep that going, hitting the Empire's infrastructure.
Makes sense. Weaken them from the inside before a full-on attack.
Exactly. But Vin, she's got her own issues to deal with, too. Her powers are growing, getting stronger, but it kind of scares her. She's worried about becoming like the Lord Ruler, too powerful, too controlling.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, she's seen what power can do.
Right. So she finds some help. This Terrorisman scholar, Sunized, he becomes like a mentor to her.
Okay.
He teaches her about Furukami.
Furukami. Wait, so there's another magic system? How's this different from Allomancy?
Think of it like a battery. Furukamists, they can store things like strength or speed, even knowledge in these metal mines.
Okay, so they store up and then
Yep.
release it later. Interesting. So Sunized, he's a Furukamist.
Yeah, and he's been storing knowledge for hundreds of years. Like, he's a walking library. He helps the rebellion a lot, figuring out the Lord Ruler, his history, his weaknesses, even explaining some of the mysteries of Allomancy.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So while she's training, learning all this, Vin's still trying to figure out that journal, right? The one she found.
Oh, yeah. That journal is really important. It was written by a guy named Alendi. He talks about the world before the Lord Ruler, before the Ash, when things were good. And it mentions this huge disaster.
A disaster.
Yeah, that led to the Ash falling and the Lord Ruler taking over.
Oh, so there's more to the history than just the Lord Ruler's rule.
Exactly. And Alendi, he suggests that the Lord Ruler, he wasn't always the bad guy. He was a man, Rashek, who was actually trying to save the world from this thing, this deepness.
The deepness, what's that?
Yeah, it's kind of a mystery. We don't know much about it, but it's definitely powerful, and it's bad news. A real threat to the whole world.
Okay. So he wasn't always this tyrant. He wanted to be a hero, but something went wrong. That's interesting. What about that hero of ages prophecy? Kelsier thought he was that hero, right?
Yeah, but the journal mentions a prophecy too. It's not very clear, open to different interpretations. The Terrace people, Sazed's ancestors, they believed a hero would come and defeat the deepness, bring balance back to the world.
But Kelsier's gone now. So maybe Vin, could she be this hero of ages?
It's possible. She's got so much power, and she wants to do what's right, but she's also fighting her own demons, you know? She's scared of becoming like the Lord Ruler.
Yeah, it's like she's walking this fine line. So much power, but trying not to let it corrupt her. What happens next?
Well, as Vin's getting stronger, the rebellion's growing, the Lord Ruler, he decides he's had enough. He sends in the big guns.
The big guns?
The Inquisitors, those terrifying creatures, the hemalurgic ones. He wants them to crush the rebellion, and he wants Vin gone.
So it's all coming down to this.
It is.
The rebellion's fighting back, the Lord Ruler's trying to stop them, and Vin's right in the middle of it. I can't wait to see what happens.
Oh, and it gets even more intense. Vin learns something about the Inquisitors, something awful. They weren't always monsters.
Whoa.
Yeah, they were regular people once.
Oh, wow.
But they were twisted by hemalurgy. Their souls, they were sacrificed to make the Lord Ruler more powerful.
That's messed up.
Yeah.
It's like the true cost of his power, all the lives he's ruined, makes it even more important to stop him.
Yeah, absolutely. And with the Inquisitors closing in, Vin, she realizes she has to do something drastic. She can't hide, she can't run, she has to face the Lord Ruler himself.
Wow. Okay. So it all comes down to this. Vin, this young woman who everyone's underestimated, and this tyrant who's been in power for 1,000 years.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see how this ends.
Vin, she takes all that knowledge, from Alendi's journal and her Allomancy, the Furuchimis, and she goes back to Credit Shaw. She's ready to face the Lord Ruler to end all this.
This is it, right? The big showdown. I bet it's super tense. So what happens when she gets to him?
It's more than just a fight. It's like their whole ways of thinking are clashing.
Oh, wow. Oh.
The Lord Ruler, he really believes that he's saving the world, that he has to do things his way. And he tries to convince Vin to join him, to rule with him.
Whoa, he's offering her power. That's a big deal. What did she say?
Vin, she's learned so much, from Kelsier, from Sazed. She sees what the Lord Ruler's doing, how it's hurting people, that it's not the right way. She says no.
That's huge.
Oh.
She's choosing freedom, choosing to help people instead of all that power. I like it.
It's a big moment, but the Lord Ruler, he doesn't give up easy. He uses all his power, all the youth and strength he's stored up over the centuries.
So this is where all that training pays off, right? The Allomancy, the Furuchimi, it's all got to come together now.
Absolutely. She uses everything, every trick, all her power.
Yeah.
But there's one thing that gives her the edge, the 11th medal.
The 11th medal. Kelsier gave that to
Yeah.
her, right?
Yeah.
I don't think we've talked about that much. What is it? What does it do?
It's Lerasium. It can totally change how someone uses Allomancy. It's the key to breaking the Lord Ruler's power, the power he stole all those years ago.
Wow, so Kelsier, he knew. He gave her exactly what she needed to win.
Yeah, he really did. And Vin, she uses the Lerasium, and she takes away the Lord Ruler's immortality. He starts aging super fast until he's just this weak old man.
Man, that's kind of poetic, right?
Yeah.
This guy, he held on to youth, held on to power for so long, and now it's all gone because of that obsession.
It's a powerful moment, but even as he's fading, he still thinks he's right, that he had to do all those terrible things to save the world.
So what happens to him in the end?
Vin, she sees how much pain he's in, how messed up he is, and she decides to end it, to give him a quick death, free him from it all, from his power and that twisted mission of his.
It's a sad kind of victory.
Yeah.
The Lord Ruler's gone, but the world, it's still broken. 1,000 years, that leaves a mark.
It does. And the story doesn't end there. It shows how everyone tries to rebuild, to figure out how to live in this new world, this world without the Lord Ruler.
What about Vin? I mean,
Yeah.
she did all this. She's the hero. What happens to her?
She decides to step back.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's this nobleman, Eland. He was part of the rebellion. He takes on the leadership role. Then she knows how dangerous power can be, how easy it is to fall into that trap. She wants to protect people, but from the shadows.
That's Vin, right? Always looking out for everyone else. Man, what a story. We went from this world covered in ash, no hope, to a new beginning. This book, it's got everything: action, intrigue, great characters, and this whole magic system. It really makes you think.
Yeah, and this is just the first book.
Real.
Sanderson, he wrote a whole bunch of books set in this world. He explores what happened after, the legacy of the Lord Ruler, how they build a new world. It's amazing.
So if you liked what you heard today, go check out Mistborn, The Final Empire. You won't regret it. Thanks for joining us.